dozen state-of-the-art sport facilities, thousands of fans, the fusion of art and science, adrenaline and euphoria. The grand sport. The gigantic mechanism. Watch at Sports Giants. "13 kilometers away from the capital of Kazakhstan, the golf club Astana has been operating for more than 17 years. The program, Sports Giants, spent a few days to go there and see how it all works and who is playing in the so-called sport for millionaires. What do we see at the entrance? Nearly a paradise picture open to our eyes. Incredible landscapes, owned paths, magic lawns with hills and almost unnatural silence. And here on the bank of the Ishim River, in an area of almost 40 hectares, a professional golf course located with 18 holes with a length of more than 6.5 thousand yards. To begin with, we took an excursion to feel the scale, to feel the atmosphere, and at the same time, during the conversation, to familiarize ourselves with the rules of the game and the features of the field. The choice of the site, as we were explained, is one of the main aspects in the creation of a golf course. It is important that in this case, a professional architect was involved. If you imagine that the architect is an artist and the field is a canvas, then only from the brush of the master can there be such a wonderful picture. But that's what's important. We must not forget that the golf course needs enough water for irrigation. So for a golf course with 18 holes, it usually takes more than 500 liters of water per hectare.
Это первое поле, полив рафов.
This is the first field.
Давлением выходят спринклера и под давлением идет полив.
With raft watering. Pressurized water comes out of the sprinkler and water comes on.
Стоят насосы.
Of course, the irrigation system is under the ground. There are pumps that pump water and feed the central system to the golf course. Water is taken from the river and water is running. But the expense often depends on the need for water of different varieties of herbs in different climates.
Естественно,
Naturally, different varieties of herbs were sown in different areas.
трав.
If it is raft, there is bluegrass, fescue. The fairways is a site directly intended for the game. Then naturally, here is a more tender grass. There is fescue. It already has leaves.
Тут овсяница, у нее
It's sheared below.
она стригется.
Basically, fescue in a little bit of bent spot at 10-20% and 80% fescue. But fescue also has 2-3 types. We choose different ones so that it really can withstand frost and can be resistant to diseases.
И устойчиво к болезням было. На грине сеется один сорт, полевица.
On the green grass is sown one kind, the bent grass. We also choose the variety of bent grass so that it can be resistant to diseases and frost. In spring, too, small works are carried out on the green. In the spring, there is always a 100% sowing all over the green grass. Well, during the season, once a month, we must necessarily plant more grass. The terrain also affects the convenience of playing on the field. It is the relief that determines whether players can walk on the field on foot or will use golf carts. We can offer you to play either on 9 or on 18 holes. This is a certain standard for golf clubs there. Fields differ in their complexity and range. The general 3 types to which these 18 fields are divided. There are fields of 3 pars. Par is the number of strokes for which you need to go through the field. Par 3, par 4 and par 5. That is 5 hits, 4 hits and 3 hits, the smallest. The distance, for example, at the impact of par 3 is an average of about 160, 170, 180 yards. This is a very nice weather for golf. How many pars are in this field? This is a 4-par field with a distance of 340 red tees. Red tee is usually for women or children. You can start with a driver or wood. Strict wood. So we came to an acquaintance with the rules of the game. Now there is no wind, but at the altitude the wind will appear. It will blow from left to right. In simple terms, it looks like this. The participants drive a small ball into special holes with punches, trying to pass the distance for the minimum number of strokes. During the game, during the strike, you cannot make noise, you cannot distract the player. And during the impact, the shadow of a caddy or other players should not fall on the ball. You cannot stand on the line of impact. When the golfer aims, this is the strike line, and you cannot stand on it, either in front or stand in a way that does not interfere with either your player or the players who are in another team. Golf is interesting in the fact that from different categories, from different positions, you can beat different clubs at different distances. In general, imagine that you are alone in the field. Although there is a person to whom advice you can legitimately resort directly during the game. It's a caddy. Caddy says how many distances are left, how many blows remain, how to determine the distance in the direction of the wind, or even advice on what kind of clubs will suit better. There are no analogues of caddies in any other sport. For a professional golfer, he is not just a person who carries inventory. According to the rules, only he has the right to give the golfer advice during the game. He is a real partner, and professionals specifically approach the choice of caddies. After all, a caddy can help a golfer or do the opposite, because the violation committed by a caddy is punished in the same way as if it had been committed by the player himself. Caddy work gives me a lot of positive feedback. For me, working in golf is more than just work. Here you can combine rest and sports, and communication and acquaintance with new interesting people. The club is chosen depending on the number of field pairs, from the number of strokes, but not more than 14 clubs. Usually, in a player's bag, there are 3 woods. Number 1, this is the so-called driver. Number 3 and number 5 is a club with a massive head and angle of the impact plane from 7 to 15 degrees, and it allows you to throw the ball at a distance of 300 meters. Alona will explain in a more accessible way.
Первая лунка у нас поле пар
The first hole in our field is par 4. That is, it must be passed for 4 strokes. On this field, there are sides on one side. On the left, for example, a banker, a sand barrier. On the right side, there is a lake. And near the green itself, where the hole is, there are also sandy barriers, a banker. The second field we have is par 3. It needs to pass for 3 hits. It is rather peculiar, because on one side of the field there is a large banker. On the left side there are many small hillocks with high grass. On the left side there are many small hillocks with high grass. If the ball hits the high grass, then for the golfer this is a greater complication with a subsequent impact. The length of the game. Either he will kick his ball from this position well and go on, finish the field for 3 hits or for 2 hits, or he will make another 2-3 extra hits. Distances are different and are calculated for both professionals and amateurs, as well as for children and especially for ladies. The fields are also different, and there are sand traps, water obstacles, high grass, and a special lawn, a green with a hole cut in it. Here on the field, everything is thought out to trifles, so as not to disturb the emotional dynamics and practice of the game. For me, the most difficult field was the 5th, because there is a large lake there. The distance is decent enough. I play with blue tees, and girls should play with red tees. For red tees, the distance is more suitable. Tee are markers, which are marked on the tee ground, on the launch pad before each field. Today the rules of golf are approved by the 2 most authoritative golf organizations in the world, the US Golf Association and the company established on the basis of the ancient Royal Club of St. Andrews. So the golf rules are edited every 4 years, but they consistently include 3 sections: etiquette and rules of conduct on the field, definitions. In all, there are 34 points, as well as applications relating to local rules, competitions, equipment, and etc. But you should not worry. At the Capital Golf Club, you will be taught everything. We start with a short game on the green with a patter, short meter pads, long pads. Then we go to the chip. Pitches are blows that are for a short distance of 20-30 meters. Not right. Try it again. Stop. Now start with your hip. Then bring it up and let it pass. Once again, do not rush. Excellent. The game of golf is famous not only for its traditions, rules of the game, but also for etiquette. The most important thing in golf is to keep good manners towards everyone, especially to the opponent, even if you really want to win it. I see a very big philosophy in golf. Isn't any worthwhile affair. In the life of golf, it teaches patience, teaches each day not to stop at what has been achieved, to improve your technique every day. And this is a great sport. Many people love music, they like to dance, and I love a good blow, a ball flight. For me it plays a very big role, and it's beauty for me. In fact, golf has a much deeper meaning. This is a whole layer of culture, carefully stored a lot of traditions and rules, and rooted in a distant 1457 in a small Scottish town. It was here, according to the legends, that Saint Andrew once struck the stone with a staff, so that the one who described the high ark fell into a rabbit hole. It happened on the field, which later became the first golf course. Well, the first official golf rules appeared in 1754 in St. Andrews. The process of training itself consists of the fact that, as in the usual sport, we also start with the warm-up. Before you start the actual workout, training, summing up the exercise, an exercise to correct any mistakes during strikes, and then just a game. A person simply trains, beats punches, and goes out to play already on the field. All those who come to the Astana Golf Club set to themselves different goals on the field. Someone just has fun. Someone comes only to maintain a good tone. After all, as we have seen, golf is far from being just a hit. To drive the ball into the right place, you have to run. And you have to run a lot. And in general, you need patience and perseverance if you have already started to practice this sport. Yes, this sport seems to be from the outside, as if it were sedentary. But in fact, a very large technique is needed. And in golf, this swing is the main blow. In sport, one of the most complex movements. So the most important thing, I think, is to love this sport and be a real fan. Our guests come to visit us. They're foreigners and our residents. And from other regions of Kazakhstan, they come to play with us. Children come. For children, we have certain groups and there are individual classes. If people come and they have a shine in their eyes and they can stand here for 3 hours, 4 hours, knock out 1,000, 2,000 swords, this person will achieve a lot, even without a coach. The main thing is to love this sport and to approach each blow responsibly. The quality of purposefulness, bringing the game to the finish, to the end. Do not give up while playing, because there are different states, there are different results during the game. Sometimes blows are always good, and sometimes one blow can spoil the overall picture of the game a little. And so you need to be able to abstract a little from every blow and continue the next one, like a new one, and do not focus your attention on bad shots. Sport is a sport, and it is not divided into any classes. And we were convinced that golf, which is called a sport for millionaires, is the same as others. Well, it can only be outwardly a bit aristocratic. Golf is now more athletic. Earlier, it was played by gentlemen, high-status people. Since last year, golf was introduced into the Olympic sport, and the fields began to expand, because now the majority of people are very fit and slender. The majority of golf players are young people. The Astana Golf Club regularly hosts the Astana Cup, various amateur tournaments, as well as international tournaments, which attracts players from both the near and far abroad. And to make sure that everything, so to speak, goes smoothly, you need professional care and sincere love for your work. Already from evening, you schedule work for the morning. In the morning, we work early. Sometimes we start working at 7, 8 in the morning to finish early before 5 p.m. Most of the players come to play golf in the evening. To ensure that players do not interfere with employees, employees do not interfere with the players. We are working for this, to create all the best conditions for players who play golf.